Tired of reading the same old stuff? The Bookworm Duo is here to rescue you. We distill the essence of captivating books into engaging videos so you can gain knowledge without spending hours reading.
That's right.
Let's explore the world of ideas together.
Okay, so
Today we're diving deep into a world of intrigue, power plays, and some shocking twists.
Oh, my favorite.
It's a story set in the powerful city-state of Navola, and trust me, you'll be hooked from the first page.
What's fascinating about this story is that it's so much more than just a thrilling plot. It really delves into the human condition, the choices we make when faced with extraordinary circumstances.
So get ready, because we're about to uncover some fascinating insights about Navola.
Okay.
A city where appearances can be deceiving and the pursuit of power can have dire consequences. We're going to meet Davico Regulai, a young man thrust into a world he barely understands, and explore the art of scion, a Navolese concept that will make you question everything you thought you knew about reading people.
Scion is more than just reading people. It's about understanding the subtle interplay of light and shadow, the masks people wear, and the motivations they conceal.
Right.
In Navola, it's the key to survival, to navigating the intricate web of power and influence.
Think of it like a high-stakes game of chess where every move, every word, every gesture is calculated to gain an advantage. Davico, our protagonist, is caught in the middle of this game, trying to figure out the rules while the stakes keep getting higher.
The story really highlights the contrast between Davico's inherent goodness and the ruthlessness of Navolese society.
Yeah.
He's a young man who loves his dog, Lazy, and enjoys simple pleasures like exploring the wilds beyond the city walls with his friend Celia. Yet he's being groomed to inherit his family's legacy, a legacy built on power, wealth, and the mastery of Scion.
It's a classic coming-of-age story, but with a dark twist. As Davico learns the art of Scion from his father and the enigmatic Casetta, his father's right-hand man, he begins to question the very foundations of his world. He sees the manipulation, the betrayals, the casual cruelty that underlies Navola's glittering facade.
And this questioning is crucial to his development. Davico isn't just passively accepting the lessons he's being taught.
Right.
He's actively trying to understand the moral implications, wrestling with the tension between his own values and the harsh realities of Navolese's power dynamic.
He's definitely a more introspective character than you might expect in this type of world. There are these moments where he observes the people around him, analyzing their words and actions, trying to see beneath the surface. He even questions his own father, challenging his decisions and seeking a deeper understanding of their family's role in Navola's intricate power structure.
And this internal conflict is where the story gets really interesting. It's not just about who wins or loses in the game of power. It's about the toll it takes on the individual, the compromises and sacrifices that are demanded.
One of the things that struck me was how the author contrasts the sophistication of Navola with the brutality of its neighbors. It's a city that prides itself on its refinement, its art, its intricate social rituals, yet it's constantly at war, relying on mercenaries like the Luperi and their formidable leader, Viata, to maintain its dominance.
That juxtaposition is really powerful. It highlights the hypocrisy at the heart of Navolese society.
Right.
They see themselves as civilized, as superior to their more barbaric neighbors, but they're just as willing to resort to violence and deception to protect their interests.
And you can see how this hypocrisy affects Davico. He's being taught to value cunning and strategy, to see the world as a battlefield where you have to be constantly on guard. But at the same time, he has this yearning for something more genuine, something beyond the masks and manipulations of Navola.
That yearning is beautifully illustrated through his excursions beyond the city walls with Celia. They venture into the Romilia forests, a wild, untamed space that represents freedom and a connection to nature. It's a stark contrast to the controlled environments of Navola, and it's in these moments that we see Davico's true self emerge.
It is not just the setting that contrasts with Navola. He encounters characters like Lugo, a woodsman who lives in harmony with nature, who embodies a completely different way of being. Lugo is straightforward, honest, and deeply connected to the natural world. He challenges Davico's assumptions about power and strength, showing him that there's more to life than the games of the Navolese elite.
Lugo represents a path not taken away of life that Davico might have chosen if he hadn't been born into the Regulai family.
Right.
And his presence raises questions about the values that Davico is being taught, making him wonder if there might be a different, more fulfilling way to live.
And then there's the Dragon Eye, this mysterious artifact that's shrouded in secrecy. It's mentioned throughout the story, but its true nature and significance are left deliberately ambiguous. What is it? a powerful weapon, a source of ancient magic, a symbol of something deeper.
The dragon eye is a fascinating element. It seems to represent more than just its material value. There are hints that it has a deeper connection to Davico, a connection that will become more significant as the story unfolds. It's almost as if it's a dormant power waiting to be awakened, and Davico's journey might be the catalyst for that awakening.
It's definitely one of those elements that keeps you guessing.
Right.
You're constantly trying to figure out what role it's going to play,
Yeah.
how it's going to influence Davico's fate.
And that's part of what makes this story so captivating. It's full of layers of hidden meanings and subtle foreshadowing. You're constantly being challenged to think beyond the surface, to question everything you think you know.
And just when you think you're starting to get a handle on things, the story takes a sharp turn. Davico uncovers an assassination plot against him, a betrayal that shatters his world and forces him to confront the true nature of power in Navola.
This betrayal is a pivotal moment in the story. It marks the end of Davico's innocence, his realization that even those closest to him can be driven by ambition and greed. And it sets in motion a chain of events that will lead him down a much darker path. What's striking about this betrayal is that it exposes the fragility of trust in Navola. It's a society where everyone is wearing a mask, where alliances are constantly shifting, and where even the most sacred bonds can be broken for the sake of power.
It's almost like a poison that seeps into every aspect of life in Navola. You can see how it affects Davico. He becomes more guarded, more suspicious, even towards those he cares about.
The assassination attempt forces him to see the world through a lens of cynicism.
Right.
He can no longer afford to be naive to believe in the inherent goodness of people. He has to learn to play the game of faccio sicuro, not just to survive, but to protect himself from those who would seek to exploit his vulnerability.
And this leads to one of the most dramatic events in the story, the attack on the De Regulai family. Orchestrated by the ruthless Calorino family and aided by the treacherous Paolo of Mirai, the attack is brutal and devastating. It's not just a power grab. It's an attempt to erase the De Regulai legacy completely, to leave no trace of their influence in Navola.
The attack reveals the true depths of depravity that exist within Navola's elite. These are people who are willing to sacrifice anything, even their own humanity, for the sake of ambition. They see the world as a zero-sum game where one family's gain must inevitably come at the expense of another.
And for Davico, the attack isn't just a political upheaval, it's a personal tragedy. He loses his family, his home, and most significantly, his sight. In a world obsessed with appearances, with the art of seeing through facades, Davico's plunged into darkness, forced to navigate a world where his most valued sense is gone.
This loss of sight is incredibly symbolic. It represents Davico's forced blindness to the truth about his world, the manipulations and betrayals that were happening right under his nose. He was so focused on learning the intricate dance of faccio sicuro that he failed to see the bigger picture, the underlying motivations that drove the people around him.
It's like he's been stripped bare, reduced to his most vulnerable state. And yet this vulnerability becomes a source of unexpected strength. Imprisoned and tortured by the Calorino Davins, finds a way to not only survive, but to adapt to his new reality. He meticulously reconstructs the world around him in his mind, sharpening his other senses to compensate for his lost vision.
This is where we see Davico's resilience shine through. He refuses to be broken by his circumstances. He uses his intelligence and his heightened senses to create a mental map of his surroundings, to anticipate his captor's movements, and to plan his escape. He even uses his blindness to his advantage, using it to lull his enemies into a false sense of security.
And let's not forget about the Dragon Eye. It becomes a much more prominent force in Davico's life during his imprisonment. It's as if the darkness has awakened something within the artifact, and that power is now feeding into Davico's rage and desperation.
The Dragon Eye represents both a source of power and a potential danger for Davico. It gives him strength, enhances his senses, and provides him with a connection to something ancient and powerful. But it also has the potential to corrupt him, to twist his perception of the world and fuel his desire for revenge.
We see this duality play out in Davico's escape from prison. He's aided by Alessana, a mysterious Meravese woman with her own agenda. Their relationship is complex, a mix of necessity and a shared desire to escape the clutches of the Calorino. But there's also a sense of distrust, a wariness on both sides.
Alessana is a fascinating character. She's shrouded in secrecy, her motivations unclear. She clearly has her own reasons for wanting to bring down the Calorino, but whether those reasons align with Davico's remains to be seen. And her connection to the Meravese, a people known for their own unique form of magic and intrigue, adds another layer of complexity to the story.
Their escape is brutal and violent, a testament to Davico's transformation. He's no longer the naive young man who entered the prison gates. He's been hardened by his experiences, shaped by the darkness he's endured. And the dragon eye whispering in his mind seems to amplify his anger, pushing him towards a path of retribution.
The escape marks a turning point for Davico. He's crossed a threshold, embraced a level of ruthlessness that he never thought possible. The question now is, can he control this newfound power, or will it consume him?
And what about Alessana? Is she a true ally, or is she playing her own game, using Davico as a pawn in her own scheme?
Those are questions that will keep us on the edge of our seats as we delve into the final act of this twisted tale. One thing is for sure, Davico's return to Navola will change everything. He's no longer the heir apparent, the golden boy destined to rule. He's a force of vengeance, fueled by rage and wielding the power of the dragon eye. And the city, already teetering on the brink of chaos, may not be ready for what's about to come.
Davico's return to Navola. It's like a storm brewing on the horizon.
Yeah.
He's a changed man, hardened by his experiences and fueled by a thirst for vengeance.
Right.
The question is, will he become the savior Navola needs or the instrument of its destruction?
What's so compelling about this final act is how Davico straddles the line between hero and anti-hero. He's driven by a righteous anger, a desire to right the wrongs that have been inflicted upon him and his family. But the methods he employs, the ruthlessness he embraces, make us question the very nature of justice.
He's a master manipulator, using the art of factious occuro to exploit the weaknesses of his enemies, turning their own ambitions and paranoia against them. It's like watching a chess grandmaster orchestrate a series of intricate moves, each one bringing him closer to his ultimate goal, the downfall of the Calorino.
And it's fascinating how the author weaves the theme of factious occuro throughout this final act. It's not just a tool for political maneuvering. It becomes a metaphor for the masks we all wear, the facades we present to the world. Davico, stripped of his sight, is forced to see beyond these facades, to rely on his intuition and his understanding of human nature to navigate this treacherous landscape.
He's become acutely aware of the subtle cues, the inflections in a voice, the tension in a handshake that reveal the true intentions lurking beneath the surface. And he uses this knowledge to devastating effect, playing his enemies against each other, sowing seeds of doubt and discord until their carefully constructed house of cards collapses upon itself.
But this mastery of factious occuro comes at a price.
Yeah.
We see Davico becoming increasingly isolated, withdrawing into himself, his humanity slowly eroding as he embraces the darkness. The dragon eye, a constant presence in his mind, seems to fuel this transformation, whispering promises of power and vengeance, tempting him to succumb to his rage.
There are moments where we glimpse the Davico of old, the young man who loved his dog and explored the wilds with Celia. But these moments are fleeting, overshadowed by the darkness that threatens to consume him.
And this is where Alessana's role becomes crucial. She represents a glimmer of hope in Davico's increasingly bleak world. She challenges his cynicism, reminding him of the values he once held dear, the possibility of a future beyond revenge.
Their relationship is a delicate dance, a push and pull between two souls scarred by trauma, each seeking solace in the other, while grappling with their own demons.
Alessana, like Davico, is a master of factious occuro, but she uses it differently. She sees it as a tool for protection, for survival, in a world that seeks to exploit the vulnerable. And she recognizes the danger that Davico faces, the seductive allure of the Dragon Eye's power, the risk of becoming the very monster he seeks to destroy.
The climax of the story is a breathtaking confrontation, a clash of wills and ideologies that will determine the fate of Navola. Davico, wielding the Dragon Eye's power, faces off against the Calorino, the embodiment of everything that is corrupt and ruthless in Navola.
It's a battle that transcends the physical realm. It's a battle for the soul of Navola itself, a struggle between darkness and light, between the allure of power and the possibility of redemption.
And the outcome is both satisfying and thought-provoking.
Right.
Davico triumphs, but not without sacrifice.
Right.
He makes choices that will forever haunt him, that blur the lines between justice and vengeance.
The author leaves us with a sense of ambiguity, a recognition that there are no easy answers, no clear-cut victories in the game of power. Davico has brought down the Calorino, but the scars of his journey remain a testament to the cost of his transformation.
And as we close the book on this twisted tale, we're left with a lingering question. Has Davico truly broken free from the cycle of violence and corruption? Or has he simply become another player in the never-ending game of Fascio Securo?
That's the beauty of this story. It doesn't offer easy answers. It challenges us to confront the complexities of power, the seductive allure of vengeance, and the enduring hope for redemption.
And that's a wrap. Did your brain just get a workout?
I know mine did.
We hope so. Subscribe to the Bookworm Duo for more mind-expanding book reviews. Don't forget to share the love and spread the word. Happy reading.